I started making a list of all the projects we could go to do.
Give me one.
The first one I'll give you is, and I organized it in terms of person. It would go to Jared Kushner. He's the White House Office of Innovation.
Oh, is he really? Yeah.
He is responsible for everything that Trump can't do, which is everything.
Yeah.
The project
He's a busy man.
He's in Iraq today.
Yeah, I know.
He is in charge of all the innovation, all of the fixing the Veterans Hospital. He's in charge of, and we're going to build a mine.
What's he need? What does he need?
What
you want to create? So he needs one of these badly.
We're gonna create a mine with Trump Tower in the right at the intersection of 5th Avenue and 57th Street as a metaphor for a mine for the world that will let everyone in the country, all of the little people who the elites left out, and all the elites who don't know how to do it yet, to come together in a combinatorial, collaborative,
right.
Building of the future.
Think tank, I think.
His thing is called the think tank.
Is it?
The Whole Brain Foundation, together with Art in Context and Hugh O'Donnell and Charlie Atkinson and BU.
And Donald Trump.
And well, but he's one cat.
No, but Donald Trump actually, he might like this idea because he likes hotels.
He likes hotels.
He likes buildings, doesn't he?
Just so you realize,
he really likes.
You realize now that I'm 81. In 1961, I started a company, sold it to Xerox. In 1968, I started 3 more. One of them was called Conference Service Corporation. We took over the Ruth Baker Pratt estate with 48 fireplaces, which is the summer White House. We set one up in Oak Bluff, outside of Chicago, and we bought a property in Peapack, New Jersey.
What to do?
We held conference centers.
Oh, okay.
Our first customers were IBM.
So you'd like to create a kind of interactive zone where people can come to sort of like a project where you could sort of like script a project using this facility.
These would be conference centers.
Yeah.
Where people can come together and collaborate.
Right.
And set up their teams. You find the technology, find their partners, make proposals, find people how to get stuff done. And if anyone has got to get stuff done, it's Jared Kushner and Donald Trump to redo the grid in the country, to fix the infrastructure, to fix the healthcare system. The healthcare system needs to move from a patient rights.
Well, if you get their interest, if you pick one of those subjects and you actually made it the focus of one of these installations right away, that would be the input, the data you put input into it.
I've got things worked out so the combination of the Whole Brain Foundation and my company, Whole Systems International, which is short for Whole Brain Competence Assurance Systems International Platform, has the capability with world-class technology people. One of them is Dennis Bonilla, who's the head of HR for DreamWorks Animation.
Well, I can tell you what, I mean, like, yeah, we actually got two of our students from the college up here went on to Pixar. One was the producer and director of Frozen, and the other one was the director of Finding Dory. And the Feld organization, which is Disney on Ice.
So Boss Baby is it in Pixar the same thing?
Boss Baby? What's Boss Baby?
Boss Baby is coming out with DreamWorks. DreamWorks.
It must be.
Animated.
I don't know about that one.
It just came out.
Yeah. But anyway, the
Toy Story and Pixar and all that.
Yeah.
All that animation stuff.
Yeah.
My guy is head of IT at Phoenix University, Phoenix University. Of Phoenix.
Okay. Look. So what about sort of like pulling back a minute to get to the big one? You got to do a small one, haven't you?
Think big, start small,
Yeah.
act fast.
Right. So it's like in making something that's a model, like a simulation of something like this, where people can actually get it, they actually see how these different cells talk to each other.
Without having your experience and my experience and this lovely conversation.
Yeah, it's like, you know, like taking on infrastructure or healthcare, you'd get lost in space, you know, you'd never come back. You know, you need to build something that is about like getting the groceries in or something, you know?
We need to have what I call, or what everyone calls an MVP, a minimum viable product.
Yeah, that's right.
And the way I've envisioned it is to take my framework and our discussions and build something in SketchUp Pro that gets architectural students building the rough framework that we can label, that the idea that I have can be revealed, and then others can build something like it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, that would be the way. Yeah. So you got to like define the parameters of a small project, which could incorporate the seed structure of the big idea.
And the idea that I saw from your YouTube is if you can find a visionary who has a idea, and you can get the people to work with it, and I can find the partners. We both find partners to fund it. They're everywhere, and I really think we're talking about $1 billion idea.
I know. Sure. Yeah. It's a moonshot.
It's a mind shot.
Yeah.
And I have
people that could really do this.
what?
The people that could really make this happen is Honeywell. I'm just been working on a project with Honeywell, where they're producing these experience rooms, so that people can get a sense of what Honeywell actually does. So they do everything from the thermostat on the wall to the Orion mission to Mars.
They are big. They're Internet of Things people.
Yeah, they do all the command and control of the International Space Station.
We have the user pattern recognition interface between the Internet of Things, the Internet of People, the Internet of
I just
Creativity.
produced 3 pieces for them. One was on the Internet of Things. One was on what is it? On aerospace, and the other one was on performance materials and technologies. And it was all like looking at they create the command and control system for the refineries to output all the, your polycarbonates, your gasoline, your jet fuel, all these different things, and they have to have all the choke points of this really complex refinery, which is like this but made of pipes, internetwork of pipes.
And what they're doing now is they're using frameworks of 3,000 years ago, alpha-numeric frameworks to describe a level of complexity and ambiguity and uncertainty, volatility.
But they have this touch interface. It's called the Experian interface, and so what you've got is like an interconnecting network of red lines with bubbles, with round circles, and in each circle you have an image of the point in the process where you're at. And there's lots of like alarm systems and control systems, and you can touch these things and you can move around and you can see the entire organism at work.
Each of these companies that are way into the digital world, into all these singularity, exponentially accelerating things that we can't even keep track of.
Machine learning is the other one, the big one.
With IBM. But I'm telling you,
you can make if you make a machine that thinks like that, that.
Well, if we can make people who can keep up with machines, that's where I'm at.
How far into in cybernetics is pattern recognition in terms of like a computer operating system going? I knew that it's been on the books for some time. Are they getting anywhere with it?
Yes. The leading guru is Raymond Kurzweil.
Oh, okay.
I don't know which books of his you may have read.
Singularity.
The Singularity. Read How to Create a Mind.
Oh, okay.
How to Create a Mind. The mind that Raymond Kurzweil, and I'm in touch with his people. They're in touch with me. I got an email. I owe them an email right now. They're on my list here, by the way. and they work for Google.
Right.
So,
well, the really great augmented reality VR guy for Google is Aaron Koblin.
I don't know these people. You know them. I've heard of some of them, like Eric Schmidt and Larry Page, and Raymond Kurzweil and Rich Miner. But what they all don't have, and what we're talking about now, is we have a conceptual, structural, functional, networkable, interconnectable, digital, whole framework that represents a paradigm shift that will not be something to do instead of what they're doing, like Honeywell you just mentioned, or like Lorene Powell Jobs' Fix American Schools, with a project in a winner of that project. I was a candidate for it in Somerville. They got $5 million. We can take our framework, work with the Somerville school. They can, in their playground, have the students build it, a mind in the playground, and that mind can go in every playground.
Okay. Now you're talking. So now it's about, like, because my wife came out of the world of games, interactive games.
Is she really?
She did the first her first interactive game was in 1980 for Shell Oil, for the platform for Brent Charlie off the North in the North Sea, and they were having too many people falling into the ocean, so they needed to make a game called Slips, Trips and Falls, so that you could simulate getting two guys to work safely through the day and back into the pub at night.
One of the program instruction courses I wrote for my safety division was Slips and Falls.
Well, you see, like what happened is that
there's a little program book, a linear program book.
This consisted of about 12 or 15 films for any one scene. So that you've got them in the way station, and they're loading up a skip with trash, and they're talking about the night before. But you could stop it and you could choose what they're going to do next or what they're going to think next, and you'd be given like 15 options. Depending on what your choices were, they would proceed to safety or disaster.
Person-centered.
Yeah, person-centered. That's what
they go to the room they want to go to. In that room, they've got walls with videos. They've got the room can be an experiential thing with every wall
so
puts them in an immersive thing.
And you could get stuck in the game if you didn't sort of didn't learn.
And it's a multiplayer. Massively multiplayer game where they're playing against other people who they've affinity.
So you can maybe make a call to someone who's got a level of expertise beyond you that you need to visit you in the room and solve the problem.
And you can be using the strategic part of the creative process. The fourth step in the creative process is evaluation.
Okay. And
everybody can be evaluating everybody else.
Right.
I'm jumping around here, we both are, but one thing I have for the healthcare, instead of being the Patient Rights Affordable Care Act of 2010, it's going to be the patient responsibility and personal health competencies. And using my whole brain model as a clock, I've identified a dozen health competencies.
What's one?
Eating and drinking.
Oh, your abilities, being able to do something.
Being able to eat and drink properly.
Okay, yeah.
That's 6 o'clock. 4 o'clock is exercise, stretch and strength. There are 10 more. Sleeping and waking.
Right.
Loving and thinking. Playing and partying.
Right.
Learning and working.
Yeah, you've got to keep more
going and coming.
Yeah.
Using tools. Money and power. Heart beating and heart and breathing. Looking and feeling. And swallowing and speaking. On those 12 dimensions, each person can identify where they
So
are.
you developed this vision because you had to sort of reboot after your illness, didn't you?